have utilities. Now, our utilities have served us well for most of the year, as you, let's see, are we zoomed out? Yep, we're zoomed out. So, even American Water started up, went down, but then since, what is this, March, remember I was saying in the last video, around February, we're probably going to crash and the world's going to fall apart, like always. And then somewhere miraculously in March, everything's going to be fine. And we're going to go until, it's time for us to calm down, which will probably be, May-ish, around there. And then we'll re-ramp up and then come back down in September and then re-ramp up. With that being said, let's look where we are. Funny. We're right at the same one that we drew, right? We haven't really done anything in the last little bit, but which is good because we're gathering momentum. We're spending time here at this price. And the most important thing is spending time, right? The longer we spend there, the more value that's being built. Now, as long as, okay, we had a couple divots, doom. Last week was 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the last time we looked, 182 or 184.90. Excuse me. You see the green line, this number right here. So then we crashed down, which I was kind of expecting, and then we came back. But look where we are. We're holding the 181.64, which is the 718 of the larger trend, or of this move right here, up to the 100 up here. Now, this is the extension, this 100 right here. This was our middle. This is the middle of this run, right? The green is the extension from beginning of the year. The red are the retracements. I'll be a buyer at this level with a little bit of caution, or at least knowing that anything below 81.64 would be my tail sign to at least raise my stops. But really anything below the 80, I'll be getting out. But right here, it looks like we're nice poised to try to hit the 184 up to the 189. MSEX water, we have been discussing our next target would be this trend line up. And as you can see, we are on our way. Next real target is, now of course we might come back down to 110 to get us more momentum up, but again, next target, well, really now, I didn't know we were that close to the high. Next target would be this cluster right here, which would be the 116. So we'll probably hit our 116, come down a little bit, and then still target is this trend line. IDA. Yeah, well, a nice little cool off period. We're holding this 618. I enjoy that. That's really the 618 of the extension. Hold on, let me get some of these numbers away. It's confusing me. All right. So from the extension from earlier this year, we finally broke above the 50%, as you see, which was the 107. We made it to 112, which was the 786, right? With the main target of reaching the 100%. Now we are holding the 618 of that move. Well, almost holding. We're 3 cents below. But I would say anything, if we can get above this 109 and hold the 109, I would be a buyer up to 115. DUK Energy. Yeah, see, this is 2 main lines. All right, cleared it up for ourselves. Now, as you see, this is the extension. Our line is right here in the sand. Let's see where we are. I would say we're going to touch the 1 or this 2, 3. This is the extension, remember, not the retracement. As long as we stay really above our teal line, I'm still pretty bullish. Now it's 7 points away. I don't know. Do I want to hold 7 points? No, not at all. So anything, I would really kind of want to purchase a little bit closer to the 101, see what it does right there. If, kind of like I said, if you watch the Moderna or the healthcare video, if we don't breach this right here, the low of this, which is 101.88, right? If we don't breach that, and let's say we kind of come down to 162, 102.62 rather, and we can maintain and hold, I would say next target be 106. AES is not looking very good at all. We're at the bottom of, well, we're not here at the bottom. We have, wow. Yeah, we have a few more lines that we drew. Yeah, we can get rid of this. This is in the way. We can get rid of this too because we're not getting there anytime soon. We're in a nice squeeze. We are in a downtrend. You see, we're making lower highs and lower lows. Just keep in mind, if we can hold this number right here, that might be a little interesting. But this upcoming year, or we have about another, we have a little bit, about another maybe week before I might readjust some of these positions, kind of the laggards. Yeah, I'm not. All year it really hasn't done very much. It went from what, 22 to 29, so it's kind of boring. Yep, 22 to 29. Hold right here, great. But if not, the 22 level is not very far. We're $1 off. Don't want it to happen, but it could. We're in a nice little squeeze. If we do drop, right, then target would be the 22.84. This is where, let me draw a line so we can see. Right about that level. We just tapped it this last week. So the probability is that we should be able to hold this line and then make our way up to the 24.40. DTE. Again, this 141 is frustrating. I don't know why they don't fix it. Anyways, we are above the 50% of our last move. We're trying to hold the 2-3 extension, but in all respects, I don't really see too much going wrong with this. If oil continues on its upward trajectory, then it's kind of, this is, I mean, it's DTE energy. It's just a utility stock because it's providing energy to houses. But I would just be skeptical, but we're also in a pretty tight range. It doesn't look like we're, I'm sorry about that. As you see, Monday we hit the 114, and since then we've been kind of climbing higher. We were right below by 1 penny, this line right here. Oil was down last I checked by like 40-50 cents, but at the beginning of the night, or rather morning for me, it was down like 89 cents. So it looks like we're kind of pulling back, or correcting ourselves, probably just trying to run on stops. So if we can continue kind of push higher in the oil market and the general markets, then I see no problem with us hitting our own line that we drew at the 118. NRG is looking good. Looking good. I'm not going to say anything but looking good. We're almost to our 50%. We hit a little target right here. Coming back down, I don't see us coming all the way to 41, but just keep that in mind. We very much well could come all the way down to 41. Right here looks like a pretty good number. This is from over here, right? We're a few cents below that, but if we can get a nice little, like I said, this was more structured intraday short-term sellers because of where it hit. Everyone's looking at that number, so they sold the number. But if we can get back to that number, I see 43.96. BEP, yeah, we really just need to get above this line. We get above this line, still teal line. I'm more of a bullish buyer. I don't see too much of an issue, right? We were there a week ago, and now we are literally at the same spot we were last week by having this conversation, but a lot has changed. We came down, we found some support and bounced off the support. So if there'd be a breakout, this week would probably be the breakout to at least getting us to maybe the 36. Sonova is looking not very good at all. I read a couple comments last week, or this last week. It's talking about their battery wasn't the greatest, which would be really disappointing. I do like this technology, but it's just they've been hammered over and over and over and over again. So this is probably one we'll have to renegotiate at the beginning of the year to see if I actually want to hold this for another year. And our darling Republic Services, see no problem with it. Very frustrated that we did not see the 145 at an earlier date, but it's you can't beggars can't be choosy, right? I don't see anything wrong with this. We're squeezing. We're going to be building momentum to the higher. We're probably building a whole bunch of momentum. So once we finally do hit this number 145, we can run ourselves up to the 154 relatively quick, which would be 20 points from here, which is a decent move. So if you were to just, buy some stock, I wouldn't really play this with options. You might get burned just because it decides to move when it wants to move, and then it will do nothing for months on end, and then it will pop kind of like an apple. Not the fruit apple, but Apple stock, right? It could do nothing all year, and then in 1 month, it makes all of its money. So just be very careful with public services if you're trying to play options. But if you're looking at anything longer term, then yeah, it's trash, right? Just remember that it's trash. And if you're like, well, I don't believe trash is a good investment. All right, we'll go 1 week without throwing anything away, and then you come back and talk to me.